Well, I'm here with Dr. Natalia Kanem. She is the Executive Director of the United Nations Sexual and Reproductive Health Agency. Dr. Kanem, we're here in snowy Davos, but about 3,000 miles away in Afghanistan, the Taliban recently forbid women from working for NGOs. What do you think the fallout of this decision will be?
It's a terrible decision. I believe our Secretary General, UNFPA, so many others have said very clearly that women deserve not only the right to education, which they do, but they're also those who deliver care. In the case of UNFPA, we've been in Afghanistan for decades, and our health workforce is female. We have asked for the reversal of this decision. Moreover, in a country which already has extreme rates of poverty, in a country where we already saw maternal mortality far in excess of the goals of the Sustainable Development Goals, it's very important to make sure that women's rights are upheld and that women can live, survive, and thrive.
Now, I know your organization is also working on the ground in Ukraine. Can you tell me about that work?
Ukraine is another example of how the understanding that women's rights are important has to follow us as we live and breathe every moment of every day. UNFPA already has delivered over 100 metric tons of equipment, supplies, family planning, sadly rape kits, and other essentials for women who may have had to flee their homes or have been displaced from where they were. The situation of women in Ukraine also brings to light the risks and dangers of being pregnant, something that should be a happy occasion turning into a high-risk equation. And for UNFPA, we're very committed to making sure that we are there to hold the hands of the women of Ukraine and every other place where conflict arises, so that, in fact, every woman, every girl can be protected so that violence doesn't interrupt her life and her future.
Well, we're here at the World Economic Forum surrounded by the rich and powerful. In your opinion, what is the main cause of the great disparity we see in the quality of life for women in different parts of the globe?
UNFPA is here at this particular meeting in Davos to raise the cry that we have to mainstream women into the design of every product, from a seatbelt to a clinical trial for drugs. That women at the community level need to have their voices incorporated, and we push everywhere for girls to have the right to finish their education. How can she do that if she's a child bride? She's not a bride, she's a victim of a system which business has huge influence to change the mindset, and we want them to be accountable to that responsibility. So some of the innovative things we're trying here is to work on policy within corporations, but also as it affects the human rights of regular people all over the world.
Now, in your opinion, what's the hardest thing about working on the subject that you do?
What's really hard for me, and this is what really makes me want to shout from the rafters, women are equal. This is a fact. The UN Charter from 75 plus years ago states this openly. But we live at a time where we have to reassert this, and we have to reassert this, and we have to demand that women be respected. When we think about someone going online, someone answering their phone, the fact that you can be harassed, stalked, threatened with rape and Lord knows what else online is why UNFPA works on #BodyRight. A woman has a body, it belongs to her decision, her choices. What's very hard is misinformation and misunderstanding. I think it's really protective, for example, for young people to have accurate truth, for us to understand sexual diversity in a new era. And these are difficult subjects for us to engage with, and the business community can set the standard with parental leave, with childcare, and with asking women, what do you want so that you can succeed and lead in an entrepreneurial environment?
Now, your organization recently launched an initiative inspired by the fact that the global population recently reached 8 billion. A lot of people see this population growth as a problem. Why do you guys see it as an opportunity?
Absolutely, it's an opportunity. 8 billion people means 8 billion points of hope. But right now, that opportunity is not equally distributed. Right now, there are a lot of people that are being left behind. I feel that if a woman wants to have the ability to plan the size of her family, as a world community, we should line up behind her and give her the means to do that, and that's what UNFPA tries to do. And if she wants to have many children, which some women will, we should support her in that as well, but make sure that she lives to be able to raise these children, nurture them, that the other parent, the dad, is also involved. Moreover, this is a time when many women are choosing to limit their family size, not out of their real desire, but because it's so expensive, because it's so complex and complicated, because in some countries women are delaying childbirth. This 8 billion mark gives us a chance to look around and see how are we going to plan for the future of humanity in a much more sustainable way.
What do you hope to achieve this week at Davos?
Look, my driving hope is that a 10-year-old girl anywhere on the planet is going to be able to fulfill her potential. She's going to be educated. She's going to be nurtured. She's going to know that she can say no to unwanted overtures, and she's going to know that she can say yes to her unlimited ability to reach for the stars. This means also that she's going to be economically secure. This means she's not going to be victimized by gender-based violence, for example. And it also means that the guys around her are also going to have a shifting mindset where they're going to respect her and they're going to help to boost her on her path. What we're doing here is also laying a claim for breaking these taboos about speaking about things like menstruation, for example. The bracelet that I'm wearing today, 28 days, 5 of which are red, reminds me to talk about menstruation. It prevents girls from attaining up to a quarter of their education days. Girls in sports need support. So the woman becomes a woman. That transition we call adolescence. Sexual and reproductive health needs to be shepherded with information, education, and also that loving care. That's what this girl needs, and that's what we're here to represent.
Dr. Natalia Kanem, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you too, Christy. It's been a pleasure.